Welcome to Kerr 9000's Horror House.
Okay, so the horror movie I'm here to talk about today is called Two Heads Creek. It's a 2019 Australian UK horror film that was directed by Jesse O'Brien. To give a brief synopsis, while mourning their mother Gabrielle, Norman and his sister Anna discover that they're not in fact her children, they're her adopted children, and that their birth mother, Mary, lived in a small remote Australian town called Two Heads Creek. After some arguing and going backwards and forwards, the two decide that they are going to go to Australia to try and find their mother. Arriving in the town, they learn that she owned all of the businesses in the area, and they quickly meet all of the town's residents. One resident in particular, Hans, wants the siblings to quickly leave town and attempts to convince them to leave by lying that Mary died years ago. When caught out, he changes his story and says that she died a few years ago, but what he meant by died years ago is that she'd had a mental deterioration and the real Mary had been gone a long time. It's when a funeral is held for their mother the following day that they kind of get the feeling that something is amiss. And Norman decides that he's not going to leave until he gets to the bottom of what is going on in this crazy town. The actor who plays Norman, Jordan Waller, is also the writer. And Waller apparently came up with the idea of this film on Brexit Day. According to him, he found the whole thing horrific, and he just remembered all of the ghastly narratives of nationalism, and he wanted to make a film which touched on this kind of stuff. So what you have here is a batshit crazy horror comedy film, which is also somewhat of a political commentary. The film is very much a gore fest, and it really reminded me of the earlier horror works of Peter Jackson. It's got that same kind of wacky, zany, not quite right, blood gushing down the screen, tongue-in-cheek, not taken too seriously kind of vibe. When I was in the early stages of this film, it kind of felt a little bit slow at points, and I was kind of worried it wasn't going to be a very good film. But there's something about the way it works out. It just seems to crank up and up and up, and it's in the later stages of the film that I found it to be absolutely hilarious and awesome all on its own. If you want something that will make you chuckle, that will make you smile, and you're a fan of blood flying up the wall, blood flying in people's faces like Evil Dead 2 style, then I strongly recommend you give this film a watch. I would give this film a very hearty 7 out of 10. Okay, that's Kerr 9000 signing off saying keep on watching those scary movies, boys and ghouls.